Good morning. Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Sorry, I was just putting my in-ear monitors on. Countdown kind of caught me on the hop. Good morning, one and all. Gary Muirhead, straight off the back here at 10 o'clock as we started. Good morning, guys, and welcome back, Mark. I take it you enjoyed your time. Oh, my God, did I. Chris Ford, morning, Gaffer. What's today's job? Today's job is getting through to this show and not going to sleep. Didn't get back till around about midnight last night. As a result, I'm going to be talking about Volvo. I'm not going to show you any Volvo because, frankly, I looked at the camera, I looked at the SD card, and I thought, I can't. I just cannot do it. So I'll be doing that over the next 24, 48 hours. Morning, peeps. It's Jim Turner. So, yes, Eskilstuna. Always a treat. Always is a treat. Going up to Volvo. This was their biggest ever Volvo days. More than 100 machines gathered for us to go and have a play with. Weather was spectacularly good. Mark Whiting has just arrived as well. Just to give you an idea, most of the time that I've been to Eskilstuna in the past, we stay at a hotel called the Home Hotel. And it's right on the waterfront in beautiful downtown Eskilstuna. So there's a huge lake out the front, which I've walked around and I've filmed. I'll show you that at some point in the very near future. But then alongside it, there's kind of a runoff, like a river, with a tiny little waterfall. But it sounds lovely. I like the sound of flowing water. Last time I was there, which was a couple of years ago, it was a beautiful sunny day, or sunny weather. I had my bedroom window open and I listened to that river all night and slept like a baby. So I get to the hotel, wander off with the camera saying, oh, last time I was here, I stayed in this lovely hotel and opened the window and there was the river. They put me in the same room. So I had it again. It was fantastic. Yes, great meeting up with Al. Yeah, Al was there and working very hard as well. Nick Drew was there as well. Whole bunch of other people as well, but they really did lay on the red carpet. Volvo. I think there was probably 70 of us, but there were literally hundreds of Volvo people, literally bending over backwards to ensure that we had a good time, that we got stick time. I did no stick time whatsoever, purely because I was so. When somebody says, "Here's 100 machines, go film them," all of a sudden getting in them seems quite time consuming. You get the idea. Dr. Yvonne Waterman has just joined us. Good morning, Mark. And everyone, should I enjoy your company in Dublin at the Super Duper EDA convention? No. No, unfortunately, I will not be attending that one. Yeah, listen, I'm fairly open about this. EDA conventions are great. Love them, but they have a very close alliance with a publishing company who do not like me much. They see me as too much of a rival, so I'm kind of kept at arm's length, and I'm okay with it. The more I see of conventions and conferences, the more I start to wonder, is this actually the way that we transform an industry or a sector? It's only my own personal take, but that is my personal take. Mercy Johnston is here as well. Gary Muirhead says, my plant manager was there at the same time. Must have been a jolly for all the plant we've got recently. Didn't see many customers. There were a few about, but lots and lots and lots of people from Volvo hosting, and really are the hosts with the most. Very, very good-natured, very, very chilled. I mean, I've been quite fortunate recently. I've been to Bobcat, and Bobcat basically said, "Here's our sandbox. Go play." Volvo did exactly the same. You got a 100-ton dump truck. Go and have a play with it. See what you think. That's a good way to ingratiate yourself with people. In addition to that, we had some fantastic fun the night before. They had a band on at the Monktail Museum. I had a bit of a walk around that, which I'll be showing you in the fullness of time. And they had a band on who were doing, I was going to say Swedish music. It was European music, but just happened to come from Sweden. So we had a bit of ABBA, we had a bit of Roxette, a bit of a-ha as well. So all of that was great. they played a video of the Volvo president, or Volvo Construction Equipment president, Melker Jernberg, but they had him, they basically AI'd and CGI'd it as him as James Bond. Very, very good. And then yesterday morning when we actually sat down for the press conference, he came on to the James Bond theme. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Yvonne, listen, if I could come to Dublin, it would be purely to see you. The rest of the stuff could wait a while, but I do like your company, as you probably know. Gary Muirhead, did you see Gravel Charlie? I did. I saw Gravel Charlie in the museum, but I've also got some footage. Now, the thing wasn't moving, so don't get too excited, but one of their very, very, very old dump trucks, Gravel Charlie era. I've actually got that. I flew a drone at it. I flew a drone near it. I didn't fly at it. It wasn't like a bombardment or anything. I didn't go all what were they called, kamikaze. I didn't sacrifice my drone, but we've got some good drone footage of that. Jamie Tarvu has just joined us over on Instagram. For those of you that tuned in, when was that? It wasn't yesterday, it was the day before, wasn't it? While I was on my travels up to Eskilstuna, you would have seen the story of Jamie Tarvu's battle with the fine folks of Flannery. Well, several things. Lots and lots of people have viewed it. Lots and lots of people have liked it. Some people, I suspect, like it rather less. My LinkedIn at the moment is, when I look at who's viewed my profile, almost all of them at the moment are from Flannery. May have a cease and desist letter coming down the tubes at some point in the future, which I shall treat with the disdain that it deserves. Chris Ford says, sounds like a great time. I'd be in heaven, I'm going to guess that's a big kid with a new toy box. It was I'm fairly sure I say this on camera. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but I'm fairly sure I say this. Because there were so many machines on display and so many areas that you could go and work in, me and Fred decided that we would divvy it up. So obviously I took the demolition bit because that's a particular interest of mine. I took the electric and urban construction part. And I did another section, but Fred did the wheel loaders, and he did the mining and the quarrying, which meant that he got all of the big excavators. He also got the ADTs and the rigid trucks. And I'd filmed, and and it just occurred to me, I'm stood there looking at electric mini excavators, which are unquestionably impressive, but I was stood there, I thought, there's no way I'm not going to go and have a look at the truck. So I went and did that as well. Good morning from Wakefield. Good morning from Surrey. Good morning, Mick. Was Peter and Lucas in? No, they weren't. The Volvo days do run over. I think it's a month. I know there's a German contingent going over next week, but I don't think it's over. But maybe they're on a different trip. But certainly we were on the same one as Nick Drew, Al Grierson. And bizarrely, there was a couple of people. There was one guy over from South Africa, one from New Zealand as well. They were literally coming from far and wide, and well, they might. I'll tell you more. When I get to the morning monologue, because it kind of left me with a bit of a feeling, a bit of a reframing of how I look at these, not just launches, but machine innovations. I'll bore you with it when I get there, because I do think it's worth taking a step back and looking at precisely how we judge new equipment when it comes onto the market. I think there is a bit of a tendency to see something new and find the problems, find the obstacles, find the issues and that kind of thing. Whereas what I've experienced over the last couple of days, I'm just going to reframe myself slightly. That should do it. Just looking at Instagram, and I seem to be off to one side for some reason. I don't know why that is. Should I swap around? I don't know. It'll catch me up anyway. Was there much focus on hydrogen equipment? There wasn't. No, there wasn't. In actual fact, there was a question about hydrogen equipment. There was a question about hydrogen and about AI, because neither of those things actually got a mention in the main part of the press conference. Their answer on AI was their belief that some construction equipment manufacturers are using AI as a bit of a, oh, we must have AI, we must wave the flag. And in terms of hydrogen, yes, they are exploring it. Yes, they are working on it. They're looking at Volvo, their own hydrogen internal combustion engine, much the same as JCB are doing. They're also exploring hydrogen fuel cells, but as part of a wider electrification program, I guess. So electrification was a big deal, and digitization was another big deal. There's a lot of digital tools that are on display and on offer. Very quickly, the Monktail Museum, which I've been to several times in the past, they've built a new bit on the side of it, which they're calling Monk Tales. They made it sound like a bit like a wine bar or a pub, very high tech, and that's where they do sort of the pre-dinner mingle, and they had a whole bunch of various digital tools on display there. All of which kind of factor into what I'm going to be talking about a bit later on. Gary Major, good morning all. Listening in again. Glad to have you in our midst, Gary, as always. Was there any goodies and freebies? And was your suitcase overweight coming back? No, it wasn't. I screwed up. I was given a very smart Volvo water bottle. Basically, we were given it at the hotel reception and told, when you get there, we have Swedish water on offer. I don't know how that's any different to anybody else's water, but we have fill your bottle and take it around with you, which I did. I'm very keen on the whole hydration thing. That's why we focused on it a few weeks back. But they said at one point, we're going to open the merch shop so you can go and have a browse. I was filming and I missed it completely. By the time I got back to pick up my bag and to get the coach, merch shop was closed. So I've come back, I've still got my water bottle, but I have nothing else. However, I've got some Bobcat stuff, I've got some JCB stuff, and I had a thing come through yesterday from Komatsu. I don't think I'm exaggerating to say it's a bit of a collector's item, but not for me. I am not going to collect it. I'm going to give it away at some point in the next few days, maybe next week, because it kind of applies to something I'm doing next week. I'll keep you posted on all of that. But all of that aside, it was quite the trip. I mean, the trip to Czechia with Bobcat, awesome. The trip to Volvo in Sweden, every bit as awesome. I do consider myself to be very, very fortunate at the moment. And obviously the trip up to JCB, I realise that didn't involve overseas travel, but fantastic. I spent quite a bit of time in the company of some fellow journalists, and these were not generally Brits. So I'm not pointing the fingers at Nick Drew or anyone like that. But a lot of them complain, it's quite hard to get through airport security, and we've only got 4 or 5 hours to do this. And I wish I could have some time on the machines to myself. And getting interviews with the right people is quite hard. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant, both in Czech Republic and in Sweden. Don't believe the hype. Mick Norton says, judging the quality of new construction equipment is difficult because modern machines hide their weaknesses behind electronics, marketing claims, and short testing cycles. I'm not sure about the short testing cycles, but certainly that there does seem to be this... say it's got AI on it, and that will make it sound sexy and cool and new. I do think there's a little bit of that. And electronics... I'm still of the belief that electronics are good, but they're not as good as better planning. I'm all for human form detection camera systems on machines, reversing cameras. But if we took a step back and just put men in one place and machines in another, we wouldn't need any of that stuff. That's my personal belief. But some of the stuff that Volvo have on offer now, unbelievable. Where's Dan? Has he forgotten you back today? How very dare he? I don't know. Not heard from Dan. And just very quickly, I'm going to press the button and go live, and I'll do the job properly in a moment. Apologies for the WhatsApp group yesterday. I was taking some photographs. I think I put the phone in my pocket, and I must have opened up WhatsApp and disabled all chat, which left everybody in complete silence for several hours. And I didn't realise until I got on the coach to come home again. We're all rectified. It's working again now, but apologies for literally the breakdown in communications. Anywho, people, let us crack on, because we do have one long film from JCB today, 13 minutes if you don't mind, so lots to get through. So stand by your beds while I do this. Before we go any further, Malcolm Dyker's just arrived. Good morning to you, Malcolm. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. It is Wednesday. It's the 3rd of June. We're in June. It seems like yesterday it was January, but it is Wednesday, the 3rd of June. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, the very tired walrus of demolition, the Lord High Chancellor of live streaming, and the authentic voice of the global demolition industry. In today's show, Wacker Neuson, one machine, a multitude of tasks. We're going to take a really, really deep dive on the new JCB 520X excavator. Sennebogen reaches high in demolition, and how Komatsu is putting a smart office in your pocket. Is that a smart office in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? We'll come to that in just a moment. Plus, in today's very special episode, a very timely episode of Mark's Morning Monologue, how Volvo is building tomorrow, today. That's what we're going to be doing. How many journalists of today make comment on thickness of steel construction or weld quality regarding new machines as compared to back in the day? None whatsoever. Doesn't happen. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to do any of that. But there were several people in attendance over the past 48 hours at Volvo. We went, as I say, to this Monk Tells, this kind of new extension to the Monk Tell Museum with all the digital tools. And I was having to play and pressing buttons and throwing up screens and chatting to the people and questioning why demolition has been so slow on the uptake when it comes to all things digital. And there were a couple of people, one male, one female, no names, no pack drill, sat on a sofa looking at their phones. It was like the whole thing was going on around them. Dinner, no conversation. We went to the demo area the following day, nothing at all. Whereas, I mean, literally, myself and Fred, we were literally running from one area to another. When you see the film, you'll see how big it is. Electric machines were way, way, way over there. Demolition machines were way, way, way over there. And literally running between the two to get them all in. Others were quite content to sit there and nurse a cup of coffee. What is the point? Ken Hatcher is here, and he's bringing with him the rain. We got very lucky in Eskilstuna, I have to say. We had sunshine all day. We had about 3 spots of rain, literally as the coach arrived. So we did okay. We did very well. And I knocked off on the coach journey, well, the plane there and the coach there, and then the coach back and the plane back, knocked off an audio book. One trip, fantastic. Was the female called Ria or Riga? That's my plant manager. No, this was a journalist, Gary. This was a person who works for a magazine. I think being a journalist requires you to actually do some journalism. There wasn't much of that on display. No, it wasn't her. Didn't spot her at all. Wish I had. We could have had a chat about you. Or maybe not. Right, okay, let's crack on, shall we? Let's have, I tell you what, let's start with a bit of cat. We'll do a bit of Wacker, and then we're going deep on JCB 520X with Ollie Sands. Back after this. So you know how we talk about excavators being like Swiss Army knives. multi-purpose, multifunction, tool carriers and all that kind of thing. Here's Wacker Neuson proving that our description is absolutely on the money.
Hello, I'm Gerhard Pfeffer. I own Pfeffer Erdbau, and this is our EW100. We've just started cutting a trench to lay the irrigation pipes between the trees. With a standard bucket, I can cover about 150 to 200 meters a day. But with the trencher, I can do 800 meters, and that's the key difference right there. Thanks to the electronic controls, even a beginner can operate this machine right away. You just set it to 100%, and it really gets things moving. Yet, it still runs incredibly smoothly. Next, we compacted the soil with the compactor wheel right after backfilling. Afterward, we leveled the area with the grading bucket so we could plant a new meadow, a flower meadow for the bees. Since the machine is equipped with a tilt rotator that features a handy little grapple at the back, you can pull out smaller trees relatively easily. It's compact, but a powerhouse like no other. It's an 11-ton class machine, which you'd never believe at first glance, because it drives just like a nimble 7.5-ton wheeled excavator. You simply cover the full range with it. Changing attachments via the MIC interface and the pre-programmed settings is also extremely fast. I don't have to worry about the hydraulic flow rate or how everything is set up. It just always works. I don't even need to know the exact specs of certain attachments, because they're already perfectly preset for me. During the demolition work, we broke through a concrete slab with a hydraulic breaker and immediately backfilled the hole. Then we drove into the forest with the stump grinder because there was a rootstock right next to the forest path. To avoid damaging the path, we simply ground the stump down right then and there. Thanks to the power of the EW100, that's no problem at all. The tree stump is gone in a flash. Ultimately, it's like sitting on your couch at home. It's your office and your living room all in one. You spend 8 to 12 hours in there, and you don't even feel tired in the evening because it's just so much fun. The cab is air-conditioned, the seat is incredibly comfortable, and the noise level inside is just right. And the 360-degree visibility, a total dream to work with.
Gary, predictable as ever. Of course it will. It's a steel wrist. Yes, it is a steel wrist, and very good it was too. Let me have a look at. There was something here. Jim said this. I don't think I could be sat with a brew if there were machines around to look at. I'd have been giving them a going over with a brew in hand. Yeah. To my mind, and I know I'm kind of being a bit creative with language here, but it is like being. It's a toy box, here's all these machines that you generally only hear about at a distance. We sent you a press release on it, but here it is in all its glory. It's like being whisked off to the most perfect beach with the most beautiful blue sea in front of you. And while some are frolicking in the surf and swimming and stuff, you're sat on the beach with your boots on. No, not for me, thank you. Don't think I fancy that. Bizarre behaviour. Love the versatility of the Wacker machine. Yeah, good news on Wacker. Actually, we're headed to Austria. I think it's September time, and we're going the long way round. We're actually going to Linz in Austria, but there isn't a direct flight, so we're going to take a bit of a detour. We're going to fly to Vienna. This means nothing to me. And we're going to have a bit of lunch there, and then we're going to jump on the train and go on up to Linz. Looking forward to that one enormously. Also got a few other bits and pieces coming up as well. I'm off to see Komatsu next week for a really unusual, I'll tell you more about it when we get there, a really unusual visit, that one. And then I've had the confirmation come through that we're actually going to get to see the Hydromax, the JCB Hydromax, in testing here in the UK about 2 weeks' time. So loads and loads of stuff to bring you. I look forward to sharing all of that with you in the fullness of time. Speaking of JCB, which we kind of were, I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to get a long film off my hard drive. It's too long to actually upload, 13 minutes on the 520X. So let's do this first.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
Now, a couple of things on this film. First of all, obviously, it's JCB's new 520X. It's their biggest machine to date, their biggest excavator, the largest model in the X series. And all, you know all of this. I've told you all of this. But in addition to that, it's being presented by a guy called Ollie Sands. A couple of years ago, we encountered Ollie. I'm fairly sure he came up through their apprentice training program. And he'd been sort of working alongside the excavator department. I think it was the 370X. I think that was where we first met him. Well, here he is, front and center, actually fronting up a 13-minute video on the 520X. So, fantastic development work on the machine, fantastic development work on the people actually introducing it. Let me grab this off my hard drive. Bear with me 1 second while I do that. Here we go, right about now.
Hi, my name's Ollie Sands, Product Specialist for Large Excavators here at JCB, and today I'm excited to be able to introduce you to the latest in our X Series range, the 520X. This is our largest and toughest excavator we've manufactured to date, and it will be targeting a truly global audience in both quarrying and muck shifting applications. So I'm really excited to be able to tell you all about it today. Starting at the business end of the machine, the dig end. We know that this is what makes our customers money. We've designed a specific new range of buckets for this machine that will meet the strict demands of a 50-ton excavator. This is a range of buckets that's been designed for maximum durability and efficiency. This bucket, for example, is our 3.1 meter cubed heavy duty bucket, which has been manufactured with thick, high-grade steel for ultimate durability. It is also fitted with a weld-on toe plate and side cutters for durability and to further increase efficiency through the ground. We also understand that excavators in the 50-ton sector are often utilised with large hydraulic breakers, and we've made sure that the 520X has been optimised to deliver maximum performance in this area. Compatible with the existing HM380T from the outgoing JS model, the 520X is also introduced with an even larger breaker, the HM450T. This larger breaker has been optimised to deliver maximum performance in braking applications. It has a larger tool diameter and higher impact forces than the 380T. To hold these large new attachments and to handle the immense forces going through them, this excavator has 110mm attachment pins. These are significantly larger than those found on our 30 to 40 ton class excavators, such as the 370X. For those that require it, a JCB Quick Hitch will be available from the factory where fast attachment changes are required. But for the highest performance and breakout forces, direct mount is recommended. The 520X can be configured with two boom options, enabling us to cater to all applications. The first, which you can see behind me, is our 6.9 meter reach boom, the most versatile option. This can be paired with either a 3 or 3.3 meter dipper, enabling the machine to reach its maximum capability of 11.8 meters of reach. The second option is our shorter 6.5 meter mass excavation boom. This can be paired with either a 2.55 or a 3 meter heavy duty dipper, which enables maximum productivity and shorter load cycles. To make the 520X ME a true powerhouse in this sector, we've increased the bucket ram size to maximise tear out, up to a massive 318 kilonewtons. These changes will make the 520X more productive than the competition. To ensure high output, the standard working pressure of the 520X is a staggering 343 bar and can be boosted up to a massive 363 bar for 9 seconds at just the push of a button. With this much power, durability is paramount. That's why we've put the 520X through a rigorous 25,000 hours of extreme duty cycles to ensure maximum strength. And to finish on the dig end, we have the hydraulic options to suit any application. The machine behind me is fitted with a high flow auxiliary and low flow circuit, but can be upgraded even further with an advanced tool select option for those customers that require the maximum versatility. The undercarriage on this machine has been designed for the hardest of applications. Being such a large excavator, we need to make sure it has a strong base. That's why the X-frame and side members on this excavator have been constructed with thick, high-grade steel for ultimate durability. And the rest of this undercarriage follows similar design cues. The idler housing has been reinforced to handle impacts from the heaviest of applications. The 3 upper rollers are supported by dual mounts instead of the cantilever design used by many other manufacturers. And finally, we have fitted heavy-duty, high-quality track chains and plates as standard. And to deal with the weight of this machine, we've fitted some extremely powerful track motors at the rear. In fact, this has a class-leading 378 kilonewtons of tractive effort, more than enough to travel quickly and easily across any terrain. The weight of this machine has its benefits too. By having it all low down on a wide and long base, this machine is capable of lifting almost 13 tons at full reach in the mass excavation configuration. Even better, we've optimised the X-frame angles to both prevent debris buildup but also maximise ground clearance. However, we know you can't always avoid every obstacle when on site. Therefore, this machine can be specified with both upper and lower heavy-duty belly plates to provide maximum protection. Being a truly global offering, the 520 is the first in the X Series range to feature both a variable and fixed gauge offering. The fixed gauge has a gauge of roughly 2.7 metres and is primarily targeted at customers and applications such as quarries, where the machine will spend the majority of its life. The variable gauge, however, is targeted at those that move the machine around to different sites a bit more often. It can be retracted to a gauge of 2.4 metres, meaning with 600mm track pads, it can be below 3 metres in transport width, making transporting the machine far easier and quicker for our customers. Not only that, but the variable gauge can also extend 150mm wider than the fixed gauge, up to roughly 2.9 metres, and that, along with the extra 1.5 tons in weight that the mechanism adds to this machine, means the variable gauge will be significantly more stable than the fixed gauge alternative. The upper structure on this machine is both the heaviest and deepest profile we've ever designed for an X Series model. We want to make sure the 520X not only performs well, but is also one that both owner and operator are proud to use. As I make my way up the machine, you'll notice I can do so maintaining 3 points of contact all the way up. And I have plenty of confidence in doing so due to the reinforced handrails, access lighting and anti-slip surfaces that cover the whole upper part of this machine. We have a large stowage location on this machine supported by a hydraulic gas strut for ease of use. In here we hold the optional refuelling pump and filter, perfect for reducing the amount of time operators have to spend working at heights, making their day-to-day working environment much safer. This location is also perfect for housing any additional things operators might need on site, such as lifting chains and grease guns. Once on top of the machine, you'll notice just how much space I have available to me. This means when operators do have to make their way up on top of the machine, they can do so with plenty of safety. Looking down into the centre of the machine, we have a dual slew motor configuration. This delivers a staggering 157 kilonewton meters of torque, rotating the machine at up to 10.5 RPM for the fastest cycle time possible. The open space around it also provides fantastic service access to operators for checking oil level or even just inspecting the machine. Moving on to the heart of the 520X, this machine is fitted with the incredible Cummins X12 engine. It's an 11.8 litre, 298 kilowatt engine, providing an immense amount of power for an excavator in this category. Not only that, but it builds on an already strong and long-lasting relationship between Cummins and JCB, meaning we can provide fantastic uptime and customer support. We've also made the bonnet area as wide as possible to make service access for tasks such as checking the oil level as easy as possible. Moving back around to the side of the excavator, we have our hydraulic and fuel tanks. These are behind two reinforced body panels for that added level of protection. The fuel tank is our largest yet at 657 litres of capacity, providing maximum uptime for our customers. Moving a little further backwards, our service bay doors are no different. They have a dual skin design for maximum durability even after thousands of hours of use. This particular service bay holds our hydraulic pumps and filters. Hydraulic components from industry-leading suppliers that we have worked tirelessly with alongside Cummins to tune to perfection for maximum efficiency and fuel economy, reducing the costs for our customers. To further reduce costs to our customers, we've extended the service intervals where possible. Our engine filters are changed every 500 hours and that our hydraulic filters are changed up to every 2,000 hours. The filters themselves are really easy to access through this wide open service bay, and that remains the case around the clock with the optional extra to add service bay lighting. Making our way around to the rear of this machine, you'll notice we've continued our iconic X-Series styling onto our largest 10.5 tonne counterweight. But this is not only for looks. We've got designed in designated strike points, meaning when accidents do occur, it creates minimal damage. In the centre, we've also mounted a rear view camera. This is paired with another on the right hand side, providing a rear and right hand view camera directly into the cab. The machine can also be specified with a full 360-degree solution, which has cameras onto the left hand side and front of the machine for full visibility around site. Each of these cameras feed high definition footage directly into the new UX display, providing a perfectly clear integrated solution. Moving around to the left hand side of the machine, we have our cooling bay. This homes our largest ever cooling pack, perfect for our largest ever excavator. This cooling pack works using a hydraulically driven fan, meaning it can run independently to the engine speed for optimum cooling efficiency as well as a reduction in fuel consumption. The fan can also be reversed at the touch of a button, which allows for easy removal of debris if it does clog up. This bay also houses our washer fluid bottle as well as our isolation switch. Our final service bay is home to our battery tray, fuse box and air filter, all of which are really easy to access using the wide open service bay. We've again tried to reduce costs where possible by extending service intervals of the air filter to 1,000 hours, further reducing our total cost of ownership on the 520. To top off this machine, I'm excited to say that the 520X is fitted with our X-Series cab. This is a truly market-leading feature in size, comfort and technology in this sector. To find out more about the X-Series cab and the recent JCB UX upgrades, please consider watching a recent video that also can be found on this section of the hub. So, to summarise, the 520X is our biggest and toughest excavator ever. It's been designed to be class-leading in all aspects. It features a dig end and undercarriage that is both tested to extremes and built to last, an upper structure that is both stylish and durable, a drivetrain and hydraulic system that provides maximum productivity at a minimum cost to our customer, and of course a cab that is by far the best on the market for comfort, technology and space.
There you are. Lots of comments on that. I'm going to say good morning to Tristan Mays over on Instagram. Top Crane Official says, would it not make sense to put the washer bottle in the clean bay instead of the radiator bay? Somebody's going to lose the cap for the washer bottle and clog it with dust. JCB, are you listening? We'll come back to that sort of notion in just a moment. Gary Muirhead says, when I can get the button to work, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, you're not going to get a better 52-ton class machine right now than the next generation Cat 352. What a machine. What a machine indeed. Chris Ford reckons it's going to cost 850 quid to fill it with diesel from empty. Man alive, that's a lot of cash. Ollie makes no mention of fuel consumption with the 520X LC. Did JCB even offer 360s with a second pin location for boom dipper pin to improve geometry breakout forces? Don't know the answer to that. But if anyone from JCB is watching, and they often do, please, answers on a postcard. Jim Turner, going back to my trip to Volvo, I think the true enthusiasts aren't the ones getting the chance to judge these machines. I'd struggle to argue with that. The one thing I would say about Volvo, and I would say exactly the same about Volvo, JCB, and Bobcat in very recent experience. All three of them go and have a play with our machines, and then literally not. What did you think? What did you think? Did you see the thing? Did you play with it? Actually interested in what we had to say, which is very, very refreshing indeed. Jim Turner says, then again, I'm not sure all these manufacturers want their gear judged without fear or favour. I know what you're saying, but if they didn't, they probably wouldn't invite me. There's lots of people that if you bung them a few quid, they'll do a little tick-tock dance in front of the machine and tell everyone that it is the greatest machine in the history of the universe. That person is not me. For one thing, not a great dancer. That's a lie. I'm a fantastic dancer. But also, I look terrible in cycling shorts. Just saying. Jim Turner, go on the same subject, so not the subject of cycling shorts. He says, although I must say JCB were very quick to come out and listen to my concerns and opinions. I tip my hat to them for that. Yeah, they listen. I think the better manufacturers are willing to listen. Chris Ford says, my Komatsu 490 uses around 330 litres a shift, so I'd expect the 520 to go around the same. It's a lot of money. You've got to be earning some serious wedge to make that worth your while, haven't you? You really have. That was a long film. We've got a shorter one coming up for you in just a moment. It's Sennebogen. It's in Demolition. So I'm excited. Back after this.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
So that JCB film was 13 and a half minutes. The one I'm about to show you, 55 seconds. But it's a good 55 seconds. There you go. Nothing like a bit of Sennebogen high reach. Incidentally, saw one of the machines at, I need to check my notes. Can't remember what it was called, but at Volvo, they refer to it as a materials handler. And it is ostensibly a materials handler, but it's a regular excavator. But they were saying one of the things that they see as a possible outlet, as a possible application for it, is kind of a dual purpose. So imagine you're a demolition contractor. It's got an elevating cab. You can reach up to about 3 stories. So it's very much in the class of these not so high reaches. Demolish a house or a building up to about 3 stories, munchy, onto the ground. You then load that machine onto a low loader where it basically goes back to a recycling yard, at which point it becomes a recycling materials handler. 1 machine, 2 jobs, looked the part, I have to say. Hillhead is fast approaching. Is anybody else pre-registered for Hillhead? I am. I registered for it, as a member of the press. Not sure there's any members of the press left, to be honest, but yes, register as a member of the press. I'm getting 4 or 5 emails from them a day. Old Fred Block is going to be showing off this. I've unsubscribed this morning, doing my nutting, particularly when you're traveling and every 5 minutes your phone's bleeping to say you've had another notification. Leave me alone, people. Right, okay, Hillhead is coming up, and Komatsu will be there. Maybe or maybe not with what I'm about to show you, but they'll be there. Back after this. So, as I said at the top of the show, is that a smart office in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me?
From clipboards to cloud, daily sign-ons done in seconds. No delays, no gaps, machine checks done right. Turn guesswork into real-time progress updates. See the whole project in one place. No surprises. Capture everything. No more lost data or missed steps. Reliable records at the end of every day. From boots on the ground to dashboards in the office, we've got you covered.
So speaking of Hillhead, Jim Turner says, yes, I'm signed up for Hillhead, and yes, they're firing emails at me too. What is the actual value of that, I wonder? I've registered to say that I'm going to be attending. So why are you telling me about stuff that I'm likely going to stumble across anyway? Yeah. Chris Ford is also registered. Hopefully I'll make it this time. I missed the last one for the first time since it started. Yeah, listen, I'm only doing a day there, but I think if I missed it entirely, I would regret it. And I may well regret only doing a day. First time I've done that in forever. Excuse me, too much talking over the last 48 hours. Yeah, as I say, I'm limiting the time I've got there purely to keep this show on the road, because I've had a lot of time off with various bits and pieces as well. So, yeah, I hope to see you there anyway. Either the keypad on my phone is getting smaller or my fingers are getting larger by the mistakes I'm typing. It's okay, Chris. I'm fluent in Chris Ford now. I could even read stuff that you haven't even said. That's about it for the main part of this morning show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into my morning monologue, which is ostensibly about Volvo. If you can't stick around for that, please stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. I hope to see you again very soon. I will be back tomorrow, and I will be back on Friday as well, because I'm back where I belong, at least for now. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I will return immediately after a smidgen of this. Two coachloads of journalists and influencers filed into the outdoor grandstand at the Volvo construction equipment facility in Eskilstuna, Sweden, yesterday morning. For the next 30 minutes, we sat, our eyes transfixed and our cameras focused, as rigid and articulated haulers zoomed past at astonishing speed, loaders wheeled and whirled, and excavators performed a carefully choreographed ballet. And amidst all of that, a message was hiding in plain sight. Stretched across the entire width of the grandstand behind the top tier was a banner that read simply, "Building the Future." And my guess is most of the assembled press didn't even see it. Those that did probably dismissed it as a marketing slogan. But for me, it didn't just register, it resonated. In fact, those three words have really reframed how I look at construction equipment launches and introductions entirely. We look back at TV shows from the 1970s and we shake our heads in disbelief at the casual racism of Love Thy Neighbour and the overt sexism of the Benny Hill Show. Perhaps unfairly, we judge these shows and others just like them by the standards of today. And weirdly, we do precisely the same with new and innovative construction equipment. As an industry, we look at Volvo's pioneering work in the field of electrification and digitisation through the lens of today. We see them embracing new tools and a new fuel when most of us are really quite content with what we've already got. But Volvo, like many of their peers, is building for tomorrow. Here in the UK, we look at our plentiful supplies of diesel and question why anyone in their right mind might consider a move away from the familiar and into the unknown of an electric future. But while we're playing noughts and crosses in the present, Volvo is playing 3D chess, and their opponent is the future. In truth, our numerous... Try that again. In truth, our numerous objections to electrification, concerns over running time, charging efficiency, battery lifetimes and resale costs, are a defence mechanism designed to hold an unknown and uncertain future at bay. But that future is coming, and it's coming fast. Volvo reported that construction in Oslo City is now 98% fossil fuel free, and the Norwegian capital has the complete eradication of diesel in its sights. Today, that marks Oslo as an outlier, an oddity. In the next few years, Oslo will be seen as the benchmark, and other cities, municipalities, and nations will surely follow. When that day arrives, Volvo's decade or more of research and development into electric equipment and charging solutions will no longer be considered a strange obsession. It'll be greeted as a bridge to a future that few of us have even imagined. In many ways, this work on machines not of now... I will try that again. Got itchy nose. Hay fever's playing up. In many ways, this work on machines not of the now but of the future is akin to a demolition or construction company taking on an apprentice. Today, that apprentice seemingly offers very little value, and the learning curve feels very, very steep. But in the months and years ahead, that apprentice will develop and evolve to become an indispensable member of the team. Electric and even hydrogen machines will follow that same path. It's easy to look at the plethora of electric machines on offer from Volvo and to ask, why? Why should I give up a familiar fuel? Why should I subject myself to the learning curve that a fuel switch might entail? Why should I do my part for global Why should I do my part for global sustainability and climate care when all my rivals continue to belch black smoke into the atmosphere? And those are all valid questions. But in the years and the decades ahead, each of those questions will cease to have meaning. When other cities follow Oslo's lead, the only question remaining will be, why didn't I make the switch sooner? The future, like death and taxes, is inevitable and unavoidable. Today, what the future holds is a cause for concern and even fear, but neither fear nor concern will keep that future at bay. We look upon electrification today as a hurdle, an obstacle to be overcome. But when governments, local authorities and clients finally call time on diesel once and for all, electrification will transform from an obstacle to a bridge. And the truth is, that transition is happening already. Speaking to one of the Volvo team, he recounted how a town in Germany saw the benefits of an electric demolition site and then insisted on electrification for the future. The operating cost differential between traditional diesel and electric was nominal. But when the local authority factored in both the environmental benefits of electric together with the positive PR for the local community, electric emerged as the clear winner. And it's precisely that kind of outside-the-box thinking that will be the only obstacle standing in the way of electric equipment's wider adoption. So today we might look at the Volvo A40 electric hauler as an unnecessary indulgence. We might dismiss their ever-expanding suite of digital tools as tech for the sake of tech. We might question the use case for a 23-ton class EC230 electric excavator. We might even reject Volvo's fossil-free steel truck as engineers being afforded a little bit too much creative freedom. But the truth is, Volvo has already built today. As their slogan says, it's now building the future. And I'll leave you with this one final thought. Wayne Gretzky is probably the world's most famous ice hockey player. In fact, the Canadian is so famous, even I've heard of him, and I don't even know the rules of ice hockey. Gretzky once said, "A good hockey player plays where the puck is. A great player plays where the puck is going to be." Volvo Construction Equipment is a great player, and it knows precisely where that puck is headed. There you are. Apologies for the coughing and spluttering. Much pollen in Volvo land in Sweden, and I fear I've brought most of it back with me. Let's have a look. What do we got over in the chat? Mick Norton says, delete influencers, insert observers. Yeah, you know, funnily enough, I listen. I find that amusing. The absolute truth is, it was the journalists that were doing the sitting around. Yeah, the influencers. Bearing in mind, influencers are driven by something different. That they operate in the attention economy. So when you show an influencer, here's 100 machines, that is 100 or 200 or 500 opportunities to get more views on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of these platforms. They rub their hands together, whereas a journalist is sat there thinking, yeah, I've got to squeeze all of these 100 machines into about 500 words. I'll just sit here. That first cup of coffee was quite nice. I'll have another one. Yeah. But that building the future thing, that was the thing that I left with. Think about it like this, okay? As it stands at the moment, there is probably half a dozen applications for a 40-ton class electric haul truck, electric articulated hauler. But when you have governments, municipalities, local authorities, clients insisting upon electrification or greater levels of sustainability and climate regulation and so on down the line, all of a sudden that half a dozen applications could be a dozen, could be 50, could be 100, could be 1,000. That right there is the field in which Volvo and Komatsu and Bobcat, JCB is another good example. I look at JCB's efforts in hydrogen, and I'm a JCB fan. I'm also British, and I'm very proud of the fact that they're British. I'm very proud of the fact that JCB are doing some very, very good work in pioneering the embracing and the use of hydrogen as a fuel. But when you look at it, it's like, even if I went out and bought myself a hydrogen backhoe loader tomorrow, how would I fuel it? How much would it cost? JCB aren't doing hydrogen for today. They're doing hydrogen for 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time. They are basically operating in the future. The future's bright, the future's green, and they have identified that and they are pushing that way. Some of us have been pushing the battery electric vehicle agenda since 2019. I think Volvo were in it 2019. JCB were certainly electric machines in 2019. I was there. I saw them. So yeah, but I mean that doesn't disprove my point. In actual fact, it proves my point. In 2019, there were companies working on something that even today, even now, 7 years later, we're, should we, shouldn't we? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? What about our resale values? What about our battery charging times? What about battery disposal and all of those things? 7 years ago, there were companies solving problems that we haven't even encountered yet. That they are solving problems that we probably won't really engage with for another 14 or 15 years. I likened it to 3D chess. That is the game that these guys are playing. And yes, while we are, as users, owners, operators, are clinging on to diesel, I think the manufacturers, to a very, very big degree, have almost moved on. Now, of the 100 plus machines that Volvo showed off yesterday, maybe 2/3 of them were diesel. There was some HVO in there as well and that sort of thing. But by and large, the majority were diesel. But the last time I was in Eskilstuna, the electric machine display was big. Bigger still this time. You know what they did at Bauma? They had an all-electric stand at Bauma. They are already operating in the future. It's us that are lagging behind. That's the absolute truth. And I did find it fascinating, this notion of Oslo City already being 98% fossil-free. 98% fossil-free construction in Oslo, 98% fossil-free. And we're here in the UK, we're still fanning about with ultra-low emission zones. The Norwegians have just gone, no emissions, not low ain't good enough. The end. Another point on that, and I don't know whether it's a Scandinavian thing. We were warned, not that I drink, but we were warned on Monday night when we were at dinner. Don't drink too much. Enjoy yourselves, but don't drink too much, because before you're allowed on any of the machines tomorrow, i.e. yesterday, you will be breathalyzed. And anything other than a completely clear reading forbade you from operating a machine. While we were at the dinner also, it was a lovely warm summer's evening. The river was outside. It was glorious and the sun was going down. I'm sure there would have been temptation to step outside with a beer in your hand or a glass of wine in your hand and just enjoy the sun setting. The Swedes basically said, we do not allow drinking outdoors you are not permitted to do, if you want to go out for a break, if you want to go and have a stroll in the sunshine, in the sunset, you're at liberty to do that, but you are forbidden from taking a drink with you. There's no half pregnant with the Scandinavians. You either are or you are not. Going back to Oslo, it's, they're at 98% now. They will not be satisfied until they're at 100% fossil fuel free construction. And if they can do it, the Dutch will do it. The Finns and the Danish and the Swedes will do it. And when they've done it, it'll be our turn. It's coming. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. So why are we continually throwing obstacles in the path? Jim Turner says, firms should always promote innovative freedom. Without innovators, they're never going to beat the opposition. Yeah, and I'm so glad you said that, because, as I say, I've been quite fortunate to spend some time with 3 properly innovative companies over the past few weeks, JCB, Bobcat and Volvo. And in each instance, I've asked the question and, I've had the discussion. And in each instance, I get the very distinct impression that the management, obviously there will be, some financial restrictions, but it's almost a case of, to their engineers, be creative, be innovative, push the envelope, think of the new, think of the future, not just next week, not just next month, but 5 years, 10 years, 20 years hence. And they're empowered to go and do that. And the result is things like a fossil-free steel truck. It's a hydrogen combustion engine. It's OLED heads-up displays in skid steer loaders. It's thinking so far outside the box, you can't even see the box. Admirable, really admirable. Chris Ford says, cheap hydropower will help the cause of electric machines. There's plenty of that in Scandinavian countries. Yeah, that will help. But again, where is it that we live again? Oh, yes, I remember. On an island. Unless you're in Birmingham, the water is just over there. It's all around us. Why are we not embracing it? And I wish Peter McKenna was in our midst today, because I heard an interesting thing while we were talking about all of this, particularly talking about sustainability and fuel costs, funnily enough. And one of the guys was saying that, it's all very well trying to get the fuel costs down on an excavator, for example. But if you're working in demolition, the toing and froing of trucks, taking away rubble to a recycling yard, coming back, reloading, going, that will outweigh the cost of fuel on an excavator. So with that being said, why are we not doing that in a different way? Now, demolition guys are past masters at reusing in situ materials. So they'll crush it up, use it as a base, and so on down the line. But if we can save that level of fuel just by not having trucks going back and forth, why are we still having trucks going back and forth? And would our time not be better spent, rather than worrying about electric excavators? Maybe electric trucks are the way to go. Maybe that's how we really have a positive impact on our sustainability and our climate care. All of that, and some journalists sat around and drank coffee. It's a weird old world, isn't it? People, I do need to go and sort my nose out, because I can sense a sneezing fit coming on. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday as well for yet more of the same. I do have something to share with you tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to bringing. But Jim Turner, before I leave, says, as for joined up thinking, here's an example. We have fossil fuels, diesel, but they want us to go over to battery, more sales through replacement. Then we'll end up with power shortages that will give leverage to roll out small-scale nuclear power. To get what you need, they first have to maneuver the masses into a place where they have to pick the option they want you to pick. Hydrogen is a better option for plant and other large vehicles. The green fuel can be generated 24 hours. I'm thinking that's a day, but the message got cut off. All good points. And I said, there's something I want to share with you tomorrow. Tristan Mays has just said, are you coming out the closet? Tristan, you know full well I have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And you're looking pretty damned attractive yourself, if you don't mind me saying so. I'll be back tomorrow for yet more of the same. We'll continue that discussion then when my nose isn't about to explode in a series of sneezes. Till then, everybody, have a fantastic day. See you soon.